Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show and our usual Monday night roundup. Delighted to say I am joined, as ever, by Gareth Walker, Stephen Downs, and making an appearance from the start, it's Stephen Brown. How are we? Are we well?
Good.
Yeah, Brownie's got nothing to do this evening, clearly.
Yeah. I was looking down my list. I was like, I can actually get on tonight. Great.
Just before we start, I do need to tell Brownie about something though, which I have kept to be live with. Yesterday, me and Chris play FIFA quite a lot, and unfortunately, yesterday it was the worst. It was the worst night of my entire life, Brownie, as I successfully won a title against Chris, but I had to do it with Leeds beating Spurs, and I was Leeds. I hated it. I didn't celebrate any of the goals. DCL scored about 4 goals. Hated it.
Absolutely. See, I always knew deep down, Downsy, you had a soft spot for us.
Hated it. Well, I couldn't score own goals because I'd have lost the title, you see. And I didn't want to give Chris like a pity title.
How did you end up as Leeds?
Because we randomised clubs over time.
We randomed it. And anyway, enough of this nonsense. It's been a bloody big weekend of talking points for all our region sides, and that's what you ought to start with. We'll start with Huddersfield Town, Downsy. And of course, look, it's been a pretty busy weekend for you. Obviously, we were on Saturday night after the news broke that that Lee Grant had been disposed of by Huddersfield Town. Obviously, you and the Town Talk lads were on last night as well with a bit more of an in-depth look at the situation. And here we are on the brink of Liam Manning's arrival, or so it seems at least. I'm just going to go through a couple of comments, actually, before we get started. Don't forget, you can get your likes on the channel, if you will. Get your comments in as well on all of our regions clubs. We will be talking Leeds and Bradford a little bit later on. B. Peel has said, afraid that he's not very excited about the potential of Liam Manning. He's expanded on that, saying that everyone's saying the same things. Very defensive, dull and boring. Football with sideways and backwards passing. Sounds like the club is making the same mistakes again. When will the club lines learn what the fans want to see? He won't last, and we'll just be in the same position when we realise it isn't working. Captain Cisco says it looks like Liam Manning for Town. Absolutely, it does. Let's just have a quick look at what's worth reading because Ben's been commenting, and you can't always show what Ben puts. I mean, I think he's calling out this BP as being a Bristol City fan, but I'm not convinced that he is. And Jed says, take that smile off your face, Brownie, because obviously Leeds are in a very good position. Michael Bottomley saying good evening. Good evening to you as well, Michael. And the Sporting Journey as well. He says, hope we're all well. We are indeed. Thanks for joining us this evening. So, yeah, let's just kind of see where we are, because actually one of the points that BPO 1992 makes about the style of football is something that I'm guessing you went nuts with AI again, Downsy, because I found one of your graphics looking into the deep dive on Liam Manning.
Yeah, but you also need to show the other one. So this is his record basically at clubs: MK Dons, Oxford, Bristol City, and Norwich. Yeah, his win percentage isn't bad at those clubs.
I'm surprised you've missed out his record at Lommel in Belgium, where he actually took a relegation-threatened side to a promotion, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I did. To be honest, when I did the AI, I did put those stats in, but then I thought it didn't really look as good. So, but yeah, his win percentage is decent, near enough 50%. The first 2 clubs, a little bit lower for Bristol City, where he arguably actually did the best job in getting them to the playoffs in 6th position. And then Norwich, obviously this season, it's not quite worked for him in terms of he got sacked with Norwich being second bottom. Both Norwich fans in particular are not very complimentary of Liam Manning. I don't know how much that has got to do with the fact that, it's a bit of a mess of a squad there. They've been through plenty of managers, including obviously David Wagner recently. and that club's been on a bit of a downturn. I mean, they've slightly had an upturn since
I was going to
Clement.
say they've had quite the upturn in recent weeks, though. Since they got rid of Liam Manning, Philippe Clement's come in and done really well with them in terms of getting the results.
Yeah, but I think you can't, sort of hide against the job that he actually, did with the 3 previous clubs before that. I think what Oxford and Bristol City fans are a bit miffed off at, really, is that he kind of jumped from job to job. So he did well at Oxford.
He did, yeah. He did at MK2 Oxford as well, though.
Yeah. So he's jumped out of jobs when actually he's been doing well there, and maybe that's been his issue. And maybe the fact that he's had this sort of humiliating spell at Norwich now might give him the ability to come to town and sort of rebuild his image, as it were.
It's a bit of a random one for me. I mean, I said in the group chat, in fact, I'll give me 1 second whilst I try to find my exact words, because I felt like I actually, unusually for me, summed things up in a reasonably quite useful way.
Well, you find that. Let me just show the other graphic.
Go on then, because this is the one you got into like tactical analysis.
This is amazing, by the way. The fact that I got AI to make this is unbelievable. Shut up, Jed.
Oh, that's a tremendous comment from Jed.
Jed was attacking me yesterday for my AI. Jed, just look at this graphic though, how good it looks. So basically, he plays normally a 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3 system, or a 4-2-3-1 system, as you can see there. So it is very much he's quite fluid in his formations. He normally has his teams building up from the back, so not necessarily a long ball type of team. They do have a high press system. One of the things that Norwich didn't do very well was pressing from the front, and that's what let them down, really. And it meant that the opposition could get through them very easily. But he's a detailed planner, so he's very much in a sort of modern coach. I think he's not as much as what Lee Grant was in that, and is a little bit more personable. I mean, you couldn't get less personable, really. But so I mean, he's obviously structured approach to attacking, but he has a high intensity and adapts to the shape of the opposition. So that's a bit of a tactical analysis of his sort of time across football so far. But yeah, Chris, what was your comment?
Yeah, the way I kind of looked at it earlier, and I'll stand by this, is I might well end up being wrong, but Liam Manning seems to me as a manager who'll help Huddersfield Town make the playoffs. And then if they don't go through the playoffs next year they'll finish in the playoffs. And then to be fair, Lou added next year they'll finish in the playoffs without Liam Manning. I mean, it does seem a little bit. It's not quite rinse and repeat, because to be fair to Liam Manning, he's got 200 odd games under his belt. But in terms of style of play and the approach to it, it isn't screaming a massive difference to what Lee Grant was trying to do.
No, but the only thing I'd say is, listen, like if Liam Manning comes in and all right plays the same sort of way as what Lee Grant was, but it starts to work and he gets results and we start winning games, I ain't really fussed how we play, and I don't think a lot of other Town fans are. I think we just want to see wins on the board, the team having a go and trying to get results, and not, going to Stockport and praying for a point. So I think that needs to be, in whatever Liam Manning said, and we don't know if it definitely is Liam Manning, but it seems to be the case that it is. Cue the club making a statement tonight at 9 p.m. as soon as we've gone off air. Which then we will be back on to do a reaction live to Liam Manning being announced. But yeah, it's I just want somebody to say to him, if it is going to be him, look, all we want is a bit of get up and go and energy. I don't mind the style necessarily. I just want more structure to it. That's what Lee Grant was sort of battered by, the fact that you could literally sit there and watch it and not understand any of the structure that the players were playing to.
Can I have a quick look at a couple of comments? BP again. But years of dull, boring football, there's been an opportunity for the club to make an exciting appointment to get the fans back on side with someone who wants to play on the front foot. Feels like it might be an opportunity missed, it seems. Jed says that he needed to lie down. I think you might have shown that one earlier with your
You've shown
AI
that one. You don't need to show it again.
I didn't
Christopher.
know that
Play
one. I
Alice
think Brownie did.
schools out at end of the show, I think, after all these graphics, I'm telling you.
Oliver, who is, of course, our man in the Falkland Islands, but Town fan who was on Town Talk last night, he says Liam Manning would be a good appointment, experienced in League One, and he has a chance to bounce back from the Norwich disaster. And he's also got a squad full of Ipswich alumni as well. And Ben says that he could be off to a great start with the fans. Should we beat Bradford on Saturday, the fans will really warm up to him, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Oliver, he's really great on the podcast, but we had to give him a red card for saying Darren Ferguson should be in the job. So
I think Darren Ferguson would be a better option than Liam Manning.
Well, thanks, Oliver, for tuning in again.
I'm sorry, I'm with him on that. I absolutely am. He's got a track record that Liam Manning doesn't have at promotions.
No, but also Darren Ferguson has had teams that have finished 18th in League One. Liam Manning hasn't. So, yeah. Listen, we don't know if it is Liam Manning. We're all presuming it is. I'm very. Am I excited?
No.
I'm more excited than when we appointed Darren Moore. Put it that way. I think he could come here and do all right. Is he such a get off your seat manager? No. But like you just said, Chris, he's got 270 games under his belt or whatever the
200 games, including long.
It's a lot. It's a lot of games to experience, isn't it? Pretty much everything that can happen in football has probably happened within them 200 games. So you would like to think he's sort of seen everything.
You've just said he might do all right. All right is where you're already at. Like, you're already doing all right by seeing sixth in the playoffs with what was allegedly a shit show under Lee Grant. So, if Lee Grant was doing all right by keeping you in the playoff places, surely the only thing that Liam Manning has to bring is actually a bloody improvement and not just be all right. He has to be the man to get you up, surely. Otherwise, as we mentioned earlier, 12 months from now, you'll be sat in the same position anyway because people will be bored of Liam Manning ball and out he goes.
No. You're totally correct. Absolutely correct.
I'll flip that up.
I know you, Bo, and you'll play forever in the WhatsApp chat. But what I would say is that he's not the worst appointment we could get, and I think you did say that as well in the WhatsApp group a couple of days ago. Let's be fair. So he's not the worst. I think he could come in and do a decent job. He's got the same pressure that Lee Grant had under him. I think he comes with more experience, maybe more of a structure, sort of a more of idea of tactically how to make substitutions within games. And that is all going to be better for us going forward than that. We couldn't have carried on with Grant. We lost 3-1 to Burton in what was an absolutely atrocious performance. I mean, literally the third goal goes in and he might as well just walk down the tunnel when. He knew after the game he was going. So it's just all very interesting that the fact that the club haven't come out and said anything about an interim manager. I mean, the latest obviously is that Lee Grant's coaching staff has gone. Bridge Wilkinson, Matt Bridge Wilkinson, Paul McShane, and the other lad called Robinson that I can't remember. Yeah, so they've all gone. Which we expected. The goalkeeping coach has survived. So yeah, you would expect whoever is the new manager now to bring his own staff in. I'm absolutely gutted. We haven't gone out, spent $1 million and got Scabala from Lincoln, but there we are.
I mean, Ben is back to being whatever Ben's on. He says Liam Manning is hands down the best manager in League One. He bloody isn't. He says, he said this about Lee Grant, but he's serious this time. Serious or not, he isn't. Jed says the players, Chris, they have to take some responsibility. Well, I said this to you actually on Saturday after the departure of Lee Grant, is just how much responsibility does that squad actually have to take for the situation. And I noticed that Ryan Ledson, who I know you've not been a particularly big fan of, despite the fact that he's been wearing the captain's armband for the season, I noticed that he came out with something in, I can't remember whether it was the press or through.
Spoke to BBC Radio Leeds after the game.
Yeah, well, I think basically, but I think it's been something since though, since Grant's gone, basically apologising and basically saying what a sack of crap they've been.
Yeah, but he's the captain, and that's the first time really he's done it. I know he came out. I think he came out after the Bradford game and maybe one other game, but we've hardly heard our captain speak. Hoggy didn't do a lot of interviews, but what Hoggy showed was the fact that he led on the field by, trying to be a good example. Ledson's just nothing. You might as well have Brownie in midfield. That's no disrespect to Brownie, but you might as well with his tackling ability. I think it's very frustrating when you get a player that you think is going to be as quality as what Ryan Ledson is coming down to League One, and then shows absolutely nothing. Bit like Marcus Arnott. The only thing I'd say about Marcus Arnott is he has improved slightly as the season's gone on. But yeah, the players do have to take responsibility. Absolutely, I agree with that comment. It's not just about the manager, but ultimately it's the manager that leads the team onto the field of play and tries to put them into some structure and tactics that will go out and beat an opposition. And Lee Grant fell well short of that.
Another comment from Jed that I kind of want to pick up on. Kevin Nagel, of course, is set to be over in town this week. It'd be interesting, I guess, for Kevin to be over, just at the same time as you'll get to meet Liam Manning, potentially for the first time, potentially not. What likelihood if Liam Manning's announced and appointed before Kevin's arrival, that on that first meeting he's saying, right, open the checkbook for some summer arrivals of his own with a fortnight left of the window?
The way it's going, I'm like I said, I'm shocked that the club hasn't announced an interim manager, because we're sat here on Monday going into Tuesday and we don't know. So I would have thought Worthy and Hoggy would be taking the lads today, but unless they've had a day off and they've just said, it's all right, just crack on, lads, in the gym. Who knows? But
with no Tuesday game, it wouldn't surprise me if they've had Sunday, Monday off and back in on Tuesday.
Yeah, but you would like to think with the derby coming up, the fact that you got beat 3-0 in previously this season in a game which was, apart from the first 15 minutes, an abysmal performance, you'd like to think that the players would show a bit of pride and go, do you know what, we're not going to have a day off, we're going to get in the gym, we're going to work really hard. So, and that's down to personal pride, that's not down to needing a manager. So you'd like to hope that that's happened. But yeah, whether he's appointed before the game, I would think, I can see it being done this week. I'd be absolutely shocked if we get to Bradford and he's not announced. I did find your thing in the WhatsApp chat funny, Gaz, when you went. I can't remember what you exactly said, but so it was something along the lines of course you've sacked him before you play, or just our luck, or something like that. To be honest, mate, I'm absolutely delighted we got rid of him, because you'd have absolutely smashed us about 7-0. So for me, it might only be 5-0 now, which is, something at least.
Yeah, well, you're going to get a new manager bounce, aren't you? That's what's going to happen. I think I said something along the lines of, couldn't you have kept on him for another week? Because the way you were talking about it was just, I'd have much rather have played you with Grant in charge and with a new manager in charge. And I suppose that's the same reason that you're happy that it's been made now and I'm not. So, new manager bounce, I think, will come on Saturday. And you've got the whole thing that, you don't know how much training he's going to... we City won't know now how you're going to set up at all, which we would have done previous.
No, we might put Joe Lowe up top, centre back up top. That'd be quite a unique thing to do, wouldn't it? I just think I just think you're right, guys. It'll be difficult now for Alexander to maybe see how we're going to play. Be interesting to. The only thing with Worthy being in charge, you might be able to go back and see how Worthy played formation wise. But it's definitely thrown a spanner in the works for you lads. And listen, the crowd's going to be up for it now, even on a 12:30 kickoff. I think we're going to be really up for it going into the game. No to lose, really. I mean, yes, all right, we're sixth, but and we don't want to lose the derby, but it's kind of a free hit, really. I mean, it's either we get humiliated.
Is it, though?
Well, it's kind of because we either get smashed and we haven't really got a manager and we've had a bit of an upheaval week, or we win and it's absolutely fantastic pandemonium because we've won in the West Yorkshire Derby. So I don't really see it as not being a free hit, to be honest.
It changes everything, doesn't it? Like,
yes,
your atmosphere around the club's totally different. You've got players who are probably going to have a point to prove, whereas they were like, even if the new manager isn't in charge, he's going to be in the stands. So they've got to show something that they wouldn't have had to show under Lee Grant. So I just think it changes everything, to be honest with you, mate. And that's why I said what I said.
Mm.
Yeah, it's certainly going to make for an interesting derby come lunchtime on Saturday. As we said, and we've said over the course of the weekend, the fact there's no interim manager being announced. And then obviously the departure of the backroom staff that Lee Grant had today being confirmed. And again, even off the back of that, nothing to suggest who's taking charge of the week. It certainly suggests that give it 24, 48 hours, that will be announced, done, and somebody will be in the building. I mean, it's going to be Liam Manning, surely. But if it isn't, Downsy, who's your number one pick if it isn't?
Well, I mean, we spoke about this on live air and off air. I'd love Gary Rowett. I think Gary Rowett would be a great choice. But he's on none of the betting. I mean, whether that means that the bookies know something, he might be in Brazil on his holidays. Who knows? But I think Gary Rowett's the one for me. Tony Mowbray's been mentioned. It was interesting last night on Town Talk. There's plenty of people thinking Nigel Clough would be a good one to get.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of the names that are coming out are all experienced managers. They're not gambles. They're all people that have been there, kind of done it. Are going to go into the dressing room and demand a bit of respect. Does Liam Manning do that? I don't think he necessarily walks in the training room, saying you better listen to me. I demand respect, but he might get a bit more respect than what Lee Grant got.
Yeah, the fact that he's been there, done it, and managed some games should hopefully be a good starting point for that one, I suppose. Obviously, Gaz and Steve, you are going to do a bit of a preview show over the course, I think later on in the week, aren't you, to look ahead to the derby on Saturday. But just touching on it very quickly, I get the impression, Gaz, that Downsy is possibly now slightly more optimistic about it than you probably are, actually, because of the whole new manager bounce likelihood.
No, you can tell Downs' demeanour's changed completely, hasn't it, in the space of 24 hours or whatever it's been. And fair play to him. Like, if that's what you've been after Grant out for a while, and you've got it, it's going to give everybody a lift. And I think that's what City have to come up against on Saturday. It's going to, like I say, it's going to changes the dynamic completely. You don't know. Players have a point to prove. Fans are up for it. Plans are in the ground where they might not have been before. Even if you're whoever's in charge, you're not quite sure how they're going to line up. So, City have got it all to take on Saturday. And you know me, Chris, I'm never very optimistic at the best of times. So I was never going to be. I never ever make a prediction that City are going to win a game. But I am a lot less confident now than I was before the change in manager.
I still think you'll beat us.
The other thing is, Downsy, what I have to say is, you mentioned
ignore
Mowbray.
Him, ignore him. He's just playing the mind game.
You mentioned Mowbray and Rowett. They're totally different managers to Liam Manning. So how do you wanted Mowbray or Rowett? How do you feel about Liam Manning as because you wanted someone down that route?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, guys, it's a case of that he's got more experience than Lee Grant because of the games that he's managed. So I'd like to think that he's taken something from these 200 odd games and. He's coming to us with a bit of a point to prove because of what happened at Norwich. I would like to think that as well. A lot of Norwich fans are very, very down on him.
And he's a Norwich lad as well. That's why he went there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's his boyhood club. So, I think he supported them from being a lad. So obviously that would have devastated him being sacked. I mean, the other thing about you have to take into context with Liam Manning, and it's hard to bring it up, but obviously he's been through some very personal trauma in the last year or year and a half. I can't remember exactly.
2024.
Yeah, forgive me when it happened, but anyway, it's in the last 2 years. You know that's what happened there must have hit him unbelievably hard. That nobody can ever really understand unless you've been through it. Now, how that's affected him and his time in football, along with that, then it would be interesting to maybe see that how that psychologically has affected him. But I think it's hard just to judge him on his spell at Norwich. I think you have to look deeper into what he's done at, like I said, MK Dons, Oxford, and Bristol. So like I said, guys, I'm not really devastated that it is Liam Manning, but I'm not totally excited either. I think when I've been on here and we've appointed other managers, and probably out of all of us, you've got to do that with me the most. Like going back to Darren Moore, I said on here, I just wasn't convinced with Darren Moore. You can go back and watch the podcast that's 18 months back. But with Liam Manning,
you've been through 8 managers in nearly 4 years.
Yeah. So there's 8 times Gaz has asked me this question. How do I feel about a new manager? I've probably given a bit of a different reaction to all of them. So we've got to get behind him. That's the thing. As a fan base, we have to get behind him. We've got to give him a chance, and just see where it takes us. Listen, it might work out. He might come to us and be, some managers just fit certain clubs, don't they? Like, it's got to go in for Alexander at City, hasn't it, Gaz? Do you know what I mean? It's some managers just fit clubs. And I said when you first appointed Alexander at City, it was a great appointment. I knew it'd work out at City.
Yeah, I think the thing I would ask him really weren't so much how you feel about Liam Manning, but just the fact that you wanted a Rowett or a Mowbray type and you've got a different type. I think that was more.
It's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big difference. And I'm not saying like
experience and
I'm just so yeah. I mean, that's the reason why I want that type of manager, guys, because I want to stay away from as much as possible about as this sort of coaching manual type coach. I want somebody who works on emotion and pragmatism and knows kind of what they're doing and how to steer a side through a game. And that's why I want Rowett or Mowbray, because I think they're excellent at doing it. I want a man manager. I don't want an iPad manager. I want a man manager. That's what I want. Now, I watched Liam Manning's interview, by the way, of his last press conference at Norwich, and he had and he were on the brink of being sacked. And I think after that press conference, it came out at maybe an hour or two afterwards that he was sacked, I believe. I tell you what, he had more personality in that last press conference at Norwich than what Lee Grant ever did in any of his press conferences at Town. So that will already resonate with the supporters when, depending on what he comes in and he says. So yeah, it's a big difference, guys. I get your question. I think I'm just trying to give Liam Manning some kind of rope, if you know what I mean. Some ability to have, a bit of faith in him.
Has he had enough of a break, do you think, Downsy?
I don't know, Brownie. You make a great point. Yeah, you honestly make a great point. I'm not sure. I don't know. I tell you what,
it's a really bruising kind of end to a job, especially if it was like his boyhood club and stuff. You just wondered, psychologically, if maybe a longer break, because this is not going to be low pressure, is it? He's going into a club where expectations are high, fans are unhappy. It's not going to be a walk in the park, is it, for him?
He left Norwich, just for information's sake, before you carry on. He left Norwich on the 8th of November. So you're talking, give or take, 3 months out of the game that he's had to.
Yeah. I think you make a great point, Brownie. does he want to get back in so quick that not just because of the money, but because he wants to prove a point? Maybe that's a bit. I think he's got the way it ended at Bristol City was sour because he jumped from Bristol City to Norwich and kind of left them languishing above the relegation zone. He then gone to Norwich, his boyhood club. It's just not worked out at all there. He only had, I think, 17 games in charge. So has he got a bit of a point to prove, having to come down to a lower division? The pressure at Norwich is massive because that club had a £55 million worth squad, and their fans expect them to be battling for playoffs, and they're in the relegation zone. He left them with second bottom. He's coming to town.
There are caveats though in Norwich because there were issues ownership wise, financial wise over the course of the summer when he walked into the job. So there are some caveats that it's not like he was walked into Norwich, was handed a £40 million transfer budget and stuffed it up completely. He wasn't handed a one of them probably marquee songs of the summer was Jovan McCalman from Lincoln, who to be fair has turned out all right. But if you're looking at £1 million man from League One as one of your key signings in the summer financial wise, it's not saying much.
He has to shoe off Horn Lincoln into West Yorkshire football chat, doesn't he? Again, Chris, you make a good point. I think there are circumstances at Norwich why it didn't work. I also think, look at that squad at Norwich, and it's very much a hodgepodge of different managers, and that was very much like when Town came down. You look at the Town squad, and it goes back about 5 managers for, when we got relegated. So I just think it's a fresh start, him coming here for him. I mean, he's never been at a Northern club. And I don't think he's ever played for a Northern club, actually. I mean, I could be wrong. But,
I was looking at this earlier and thinking he's a very southern bloke. Well, I say southern, like Midlands at the push. You class Norwich as the East Midlands, but on the whole, he's never been up north.
I remember when Chris Powell came and we stuck a flat cap on him and made him try to speak with a Yorkshire accent, which was hilarious. I hope we don't really go down that gimmick route. Because that wouldn't be good. I'm looking forward to seeing him come in and trying to do the best he can. Really, we lose our next 3 games. I'd hate to be anyone.
If Huddersfield lose the next 3 games, it'd hate to be anyone at Town. We've turned into Leeds United entitled fans. That's just Jed stirring the pot from thousands of miles away on the other side of the planet. Nice one, Jed.
What I will say about Town, just quickly, is that it's big pressure. Obviously, we say this about managers quite a lot. When they're on an upward trajectory, all's good. And obviously, he was on an upward trajectory before he went to Norwich. Then he's had a bad experience at Norwich. So the Huddersfield job for him personally needs to work, because if he has 2 bad experiences in a row, that's almost like, it's not career over, but you know what I'm saying, don't you? He needs to bounce back in this job from what happened at Norwich, from a personal point of view.
Next up, Grimsby Town, if this goes wrong.
Well, it's true. You start looking at, the likes of Carl Robinson, don't you, and where his career's gone. I mean, I'm not picking on Carl Robinson because he was on the list, but just a comment there about pressure. Yeah, there is pressure. I'm not disagreeing with that. There's massive pressure at Town and expectation, but that was the problem with Lee Grant. He couldn't handle that expectation and pressure. The squad is good enough on paper. I know that there's lots of us on this podcast that disagree with me on this, but the squad on paper is good enough to be in that top 3, and it's not.
Ben disagrees. He says you've got a squad full of donkeys.
Ben, I don't really know what planet Ben's on, bless him, but I mean, we, the squad on paper should be in the top 3, but it isn't, because we've not sure, Chris, because we've not been
where you should be.
We've not been played correctly, tactically or structurally. So maybe hopefully
the thing is, like we said last week, your pressure comes partly because of all the money you've spent and the money, the riches that you have as a football club, and that piles the pressure on more than it otherwise would.
And what's been said, Gaz, You know, that's what we touched on last week, wasn't it? You know, when I said about, you know, Kevin coming out and saying top 2 or nothing, you know, I mean, it's stuff like that, you know, adds even more pressure, doesn't it?
And that in conjunction with spending all the money, those two things, you're right.
So I did find it interesting last week when you said that you could see parallels, you know, to kind of what I was saying. I mean, you know, it's it's interesting. I know then that you did agree with what Chris said about you being 18th in League Two, but
we were,
you know,
and we didn't have the money that Town have. We've never had that money.
That makes it worse.
But in terms of the
progression
of the downward spiral and the toxicity, it's very similar. It was very similar to City.
Yeah.
Speaking of the big money, we can't kind of move away from Huddersfield before we kind of touch on the fact that obviously a couple of players in and a big money arrival out. And obviously the irony as well that Joe Taylor is buggered off out on loan to Wigan Athletic the day before the man that he'd reportedly fallen out with, Lee Grant, was then sacked. Let's be fair, any manager that would have been taking this job would have wanted Joe Taylor to be in and around that squad, but the timing of some things in football is utterly priceless. So, talking through Taylor's departure, and obviously the players that have come in so far, Ballymumba last week as well, which looked like Nagel clearly backing Lee Grant.
Yep. The decisions are backwards. You know, Grant should have gone on January the 1st. Taylor should have never been loaned out. Dion Charles should be sold. And I mean, I don't mind the signing. I don't mind the signing of Ballymumba, to be fair, but it was brought. I mean, interestingly enough, if it is Liam Manning, he's kind of a Liam Manning signing anyway, in a sense, because of where he plays. He fit in the system, so it's not particularly an absolutely woeful buy, because obviously he will be worth hopefully more in the future anyway. Only 24 from Plymouth. Didn't do a lot on Saturday, not going to lie, but then again, nobody really did, so I'm not going to hold that against him. And then Jack Alnwick, keeper, brought in also for number 2 with Goodman going back to Palace. I mean, that made sense. You know, I think Goodman wasn't getting the game time. Palace obviously are not happy that he's not got the game time, so he's now gone on loan to Barnsley, where he was straight into their number 1 position. Lee Grant had this absolutely. I mean, I've never seen a manager like it. He kept saying every week, "I've got 2 number 1s." You can't put both of them in goal, mate. Have you not learned how professional you were a goalkeeper? Have you not learned how football works? You can't have one goalkeeper in and then go, do you know what? Next week we'll switch it for somebody else. It doesn't work like that. So anyway, Jack Alnwick's come in as number 2. He was 3rd choice at Cardiff. I think he had a bit of a bust up at Cardiff. Pretty happy to come and sit on the bench at Town. Knows Lee Nichols. They've sort of known each other since they were teenagers. Played in the same academy, so for me that made total sense. And then the other weird one is Callum Humphreys coming in from Ipswich, literally because of Lee Grant. It just doesn't make any sense. Cameron Humphreys. I don't know where he got Callum from. Cameron Humphreys, but yeah, he came from Ipswich, and I just baffled. I mean, he looks a half decent player. Don't get me wrong. And we needed somebody because we sold Ben Wiles and Castledine's gone. I mean, we need somebody still to replace him. So it'll be interesting to see what Liam Manning, if it is Liam Manning, if he has any ideas of a number 10. But yeah, I mean, I just wondered how Cameron Humphreys is feeling right now.
Yeah, for 1 minute you brought in somebody you'd worked with previously last season. The next minute, that man is out the door. It will be interesting to see. We'll leave it there with Huddersfield, and of course, you two, as I say, Gaz and Steve, will be doing a preview show later on the week. We're thinking Thursday. Keep an eye on our social media channels when that is scheduled, and join us for that one. Steve, any final things on Town?
No, not really. Obviously, like I've just said about Joe Taylor going, it's just a bit mad. I wouldn't have done it. Me and Gaz have booked out a boxing hall for the preview on Thursday. Gaz is in the red corner or the maroon corner, and I'm in the old blue and white corner.
He's in the claret corner.
whatever, claret or maroon, whatever bloody colours Bradford City playing. So that'll be interesting when we start the whistle goes and the bell sounds. I'm looking forward to it.
Sorry, I'm just gonna final on this most peculiar of ones. Chris Markham out. He's only been in the job 3 minutes.
What? That must be banter. That can't be a proper comment.
Believe me, I've been keeping on the comments, and he's really not happy with Liam Manning's appointment.
I've seen Brownie. I've seen Brownie typing while we've been talking.
My burner account.
Let's turn our attentions to Brownie then and to Leeds United. He's clarifying, by the way, that it is a joke that Chris Malcolm out. Leeds United then, you can be the happy, stress-free one on the show.
Can you believe it? Who would have thought it? Who would have thought it? Yes. It's all very positive, isn't it? I can't believe it. I'm the only one.
Just do this for you. There we go. Yeah. Look at that.
There we go.
I can't believe that Brownie's the one sat here. And actually, I thought that Farker would have been the first one to be sacked. But to be honest, he nearly didn't make the season, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And that's one of the stories of the season, isn't it? How he's turned it around from that run of games that we had leading up to the Man City game. I think we'd lost 7 in 8 or something, or 7 in 9. And there were rumours going round that he was on the brink of losing his job. And then since then, we've lost 1 in 10. And, a few bits of luck here, we could be higher in the league as well. But we're heading in the right direction. It was an important win because all the teams at the bottom did well, really. Bournemouth, Forest, West Ham, particularly, picking up points. West Ham getting a great win at Spurs, who were a total basket case at the moment. So it was important that we won it. Absolutely vital that we won it and kept the gap. Another good performance. Another time where we've made a really good Premier League team. A team that had been in form. I think Fulham were 3rd in the form table coming to Elland Road, and we've really stifled them. Harry Wilson, who's their big danger man, didn't get a sniff all game, didn't hurt us at all. I've heard some fans saying about, I'd like to have seen it if Farker had been a bit more attack-minded, if we'd have started a couple more attacking players or tried to be on the front foot more. I disagree with that completely. I think it was the perfect game plan. I think, if you go all out in a game like that, you can be cut to ribbons. We saw that the last time we were in the Premier League. We need to be tight at the back. We need to keep things close. And second half, we really put us foot on the accelerator. It looked like it was going to peter out to a 0-0, but then Metcher finds a brilliant winner. We're just in a good moment. It's I think the last time we were in the Premier League, I think a lot of fans, myself included, we just got used to it being pretty awful in the Premier League and a bit of PTSD from it. And I think we're almost having to I think we're slowly coming around to the fact that we might actually be a decent team. It's all looking positive, mate. I can't complain. And I would if I could.
I do. And this is, I'm just a bit staggered. Like, this is, Gaz, help me out here. Is this the most positive we've ever heard, Brownie? It's just mad.
It's a bit crazy, isn't it? We're living in a parallel universe. What is it, Brownie? Is it as simple as the change in formation that you've had, or is there other things at play as well?
Well, there's a couple of things. Look, the form going up to that formation change, it wasn't good. But I think if you look at those games, and me and Jay bang this drum a lot, there was still a lot of really competitive performances in that. So against Aston Villa, which was kind of the nadir of the run, we just looked kind of like we couldn't get a point at that time. And we still put in a good performance against Villa, but we just weren't getting any rewards. Nothing was falling for us. Man City were getting, humped. It's 2-0 at half time. It could have been 4. And then he's made this switch in tactics. I think apparently Dominic Calvert-Lewin gave a bit of a speech in the dressing room as well. He kind of rallied them a little bit. And it looks like one of those defining moments, but I do think we were better than what the run suggested prior to that. But no doubt, whatever it is, I don't know if it's the fact that we were able then to kind of, threaten Man City. We followed that up by beating Chelsea. It just feels like it's clicked. And long may it continue. You know, we've had some big absences lately as well. You know, in we lost Beal and Stack before the game against Fulham. Two major players for us, probably top of the list of players you wouldn't want to lose right now. And yet we've found a way to win. So yeah, there's a lot of combination. I think Farke as well. I think there's got to be an appreciation there. You know, there's really got to be a kind of understanding that this guy has defied expectations, defied the odds. Steve was saying at the start, you know, we probably all thought he was going to be one of the first to be sacked, really. You know, and he's building a reputation for himself. You know, he's showing flexibility. They were chatting about this the other day, but he's showing a flexibility in his formation, his tactics, how he's using his squad that a lot of other managers are at the moment. I mean, you look at Amorim or, you know, whoever you want to look at, and, you know, being inflexible, you know, and Farke is definitely not that at the minute. He's, you know, it's different players coming in, you know, he's switching formations during games. He's getting his subs bang on at the minute. Long may it continue.
I'll be honest, I've been really impressed. I mean, I hate to say it, and please don't clip this up, but yeah, I have been impressed, Brownie. I think he's kind of, because I think a lot of Leeds fans were at the stage where they kind of just wanted him gone, really, didn't they? If we're being honest. I don't think it was quite 50-50 split. I think it was more than that wanted him to go. I think you and Jay at one point were kind of out there as only the kind of ones that were trying to still back him, to be honest. But he's kind of shown how good he can be as a manager at Premier League level in terms of, like you said, that change of system, making it flow, and also like not being so rigid, like when you're coming up against an opposition. So like you played differently from West Ham to how you played against, say, Sunderland, or, you know, different types of opposition. I mean, to get the points that you did in December, I thought was absolutely outstanding, because I didn't think you'd get more than 5.
No, absolutely. You know, we looked at that run thinking, you know, bloody hell. And we went into that month having lost 7 in 8 or whatever it was. And you're thinking, look, you know, how's this going to go? So, yeah, he's done amazing. I think, you know, as Leeds fans, we just need to have a bit of faith now and trust in him that he can get it right. Because if he keeps us up this season, he's hit every objective that was laid out in front of him. Yes, you could argue should have got us up the first season, but I think there's factors as to why that didn't happen, especially, you know, the first couple of months, you know, the mess that it was. And an Ipswich team that were just crazy outliers that season. It really should have been Leeds who pipped them to promotion that season. Didn't happen. Came back, lost key players, and then got 100 points. Team that wins the league, and now he's proven in the Premier League with a squad that is limited. Is, you would say, compared to other teams around it, not as talented. And a squad that was left short, really, in attacking areas. And he's made do. He's found a way to make it work. So, yeah, full credit to Farke. I just hope it continues. I hope that I think he's got 1 year left on his contract. Me, personally, I think if he keeps us up, he absolutely guides us into that 4th season, and we see what he can do, see where he can develop as hopefully the squad improves.
I mean, I'm just going to bring that table back up to look at where you are now. Obviously, Bournemouth and Brighton is the Monday Night Football, half an hour gone, and Bournemouth have just been awarded a penalty. But all in all, I mean, you look at that and you know, the right result tonight potentially, you know, would have had you 3 points off 12th.
Yeah,
and it's just crazy. And obviously with West Ham, even I didn't expect. I know Spurs are Spurs, but even I didn't expect West Ham to go to Spurs and get the result of the weekend. And if what should have happened, you know, Spurs would have beaten West Ham there, you'd have been so comfortable below you as well.
Yeah,
it's just turning out to be, as you say, certainly a season beyond expectations, to say the least, Brownie.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of Farke now? I mean, you guys probably thought, yeah, he would probably be one of the first to go. I know you, Chris, you thought maybe Leeds should have made a change in the summer, didn't you? But I mean, what do you think? I mean, is it surprising for you guys as well how well he's doing?
Yes. I think it's a simple answer. Bournemouth have just scored that penalty, by the way, so they're 1-0 up. But yeah, I think I just didn't see it. I didn't see this turnaround.
No,
like everything up to that Manchester City game is along the lines of what we expected. To be fair, desperately trying to pull a result out of your ass from somewhere and failing to do so, and then the turnaround has just been absolutely staggering. To be fair to him, and as you say, he's gone from being the man that you expected to go first in, certainly across our region, to being the man that looks the least likely to arguably the least likely to be sacked at the moment, because I think this window is going to be key though.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we've already made moves. I mean,
if he gets the back in and can get some bodies in, yeah.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, no, exactly. I think
if more bodies come in there, the top half's your oyster, isn't it? If you can get the right bodies in, maybe.
Possibly. I mean, Buonanotte coming in, it just happened out of thin air. There'd not been many rumours about it, and then all of a sudden we'd done his deal, which I think gives us something completely new in the final third. Really exciting player. Obviously, Strand Larsen, that's the big rumour at the minute. Ambitious, really ambitious. I know he's not had a great season, but I think, Wolves have obviously been a basket case this year, and I think that's taken most of us by surprise because, the PSR stuff, how can we do that one? It's strange because I know it's changing to squad cost ratio, isn't it? So I don't know if that's kind of loosened the purse strings a little bit or what. We are, I mean, there's no doubt you are handicapped a little bit when you come up from the Championship in terms of your finances, but that's one of the reasons why the 49ers got involved with Leeds is because of the revenue that the club generates. It can be a little bit of a level playing field. We can hopefully jump up, and overtake your Bournemouths and Crystal Palaces and that kind of thing because of our income, because of our revenues. It's just getting through this initial kind of couple of years in the Premier League where you're vulnerable to going straight back down. If we can get through that, keep building. And listen, it helps when you sign 2 strikers on a free that have bagged you 14 goals. I mean, stuff like that is just phenomenal, And lots of doubts about him, wasn't there, in our group? But he looked
not from me. The only doubts about Calvert-Lewin came from down here.
Gaz, 100%. Gaz was
to be fair to Downsy, listen, everyone was going to be scratching their head a little bit and going, look, this could go either way. Look, Calvert-Lewin could have been injured first game at season, out for 6 months and, no impact. So it was a huge risk. But medical team have backed themselves. They've got him fit and firing. He's playing every game. He's scoring goals. And Mecha as well. Mecha was, that was a bit of an eyebrow raiser at the time. You thought, well, what's this guy going to do? He's been injured for 4 seasons. He's scored about 3 goals in 4 years. You think, what's that about? But these people know what they're doing sometimes, don't they?
The medical team didn't back themselves. They just, when they signed him permanently, all got in a line and prayed to God that he wasn't going to get injured. That's what's happened. And suddenly the big man upstairs has decided to go, do you know what? We'll let Calvert off for a bit. His form's been unbelievable.
To be fair to Calvert-Lewin, he's deserved some bloody luck fitness-wise because he sure as hell hasn't had it for the last 3 years at Everton.
I know. It would have been nice if it happened.
That's the
at
thing
Everton,
with him, isn't it?
Leeds.
You managed to keep him fit. That's been the big thing with Calvert-Lewin. I think he's always been a decent player. It's been a matter of keeping him fit, and you've managed to do that, which has been huge for you. Personally, I'm just pleased for Farker on a personal level because, as we've talked about on here before, and I'm sure lots of other people have as well, the narrative was laid out well before when he took charge of Leeds that he'd get you up and then he'd be sacked because he ain't good enough for the Premiership. That's what he did at Norwich. So the fact that he's proven people differently, I'm quite pleased for him on a personal level.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what I find frustrating, especially I think in the content creator space and generally social media is it's like I watched a few content creators after the Leeds Fulham game, and there's always still that negativity there, or we should have done this, we should have done that, and I'm thinking, look, we just won the game. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how can you turn around and criticize it? It's nothing's going to be perfect, but I still think there's a section of Leeds fans out there that are kind of still waiting to pull the plug on him somewhat, even if it's kind of just in the back of the mind. And I even if he keeps us up this year, in the summer there will be a section of Leeds fans that want us to replace him with someone else. Whereas I think if he keeps us up this summer, listen, I think he should get that 4th season and see where we go from there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I agree, Brown.
No, I agree as well. I mean, I think Larsson's going to be a great buy for you. I don't know what you're paying for him, but I think he's going to be a really good.
I just can't see us doing it though. I still can't see us doing it.
But... Like, has a bid gone in yet? For example,
we've inquired apparently, so we're waiting to see what Wolves say to the inquiry. We've still got Peru, kind of. We don't know what's happening with him. There seems to be some offers coming in for him.
Yeah, Celtic is an interesting one, given that obviously both yourselves, given that yourselves and the 49ers other club Rangers.
Never a chance of it happening.
Surely, I mean, given Rangers' need for a striker as well, sure it's easier to cook the books somehow and sell into your own your other club for 20 mil or something.
Don't you think though this is a major problem with like multi-club ownership and these kind of?
You've only got to look at bloody Strasbourg, Chelsea, and all that sort of things. And
like we should have, if Celtic came in, we've refused their offer because apparently it's a loan. But if Celtic came in with the transfer value we have of Peru, we should be able to go, yes, we want to sell him.
Yeah,
we don't care what happens to Rangers. Like, but it feels like, oh no, we're not going to do that because Rangers fans will be unhappy. It's like it, and this is where the multi-club stuff. I just think it stinks, to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we are directly a multi-club, but I think we shouldn't have to be worried about who we're selling our players to. If we've got, someone comes in with a value for them, we should be able to sell them, and because it benefits us.
But realistically, right? Surely, if you, I don't know what you've slapped on Peru, but maybe if you say right, you want something daft like 28 million, and Celtic go, yeah, we'll pony up 28 million. Surely Rangers fans will go, Leeds have had your pants down, with 28 million because you're not going to score yet, No, but
I think you're playing down that hatred a bit there. That that Rangers fans couldn't give a monkeys what Leeds get out of it. Rangers fans would just not want anything to benefit Celtic.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, my point is that Leeds will have made Celtic far overpay for a player that realistically is worth 15 million.
Just like a bit of difference though. If Joel Pirou then goes and scores 15 goals in the second half of the season, wins Celtic the title, Rangers fans will hit the fucking roof. Understandably,
the F-bombs come out. That means the show now has not made any money. Cheers, Christopher.
This is a ridiculous thing, though. It's like, why there shouldn't be a consideration. I don't like this. Like you're saying, Chris, with Strasbourg and Chelsea. I mean, it's like Strasbourg aren't even a thing, isn't it? It's like, we're just your manager. That's it.
Just to pay them for players as well. It's like they've got Emmanuel Omega. He's already he's been at Strasbourg a year or two, but in the summer they already signed a transfer for him to come to Chelsea next summer, and that was a year in advance.
Brownie. Go on, Gav. Sorry.
That thing about Strasbourg losing the last couple of matches of the season, which stopped them getting in a European competition, which then meant that Chelsea could go in that European competition. It's dodgy. It is murky as anything. It really is. This multi-club ownership. Strasbourg losing games so that bloody Chelsea can get in the European competition. It's murky. It's murky.
That's not proven. It's not provable though. That is it.
It's not provable.
You can't prove. I mean, I hate talking about I think it's a really interesting subject, What unfortunately though is it does play into Brownie's conspiracy theories that everything's against Leeds United. So
it's true.
And we are not suggesting that actually happened. It is just a conspiracy theory that is going around, that is alleged by people.
Gaz has brought out
guys online, not by me.
Don't come after us. We can't afford legal fees. This is all. We don't make any money out of this.
Gaz has just remembered the lawyer term of allegedly. That is a great. Whoever put that in the English dictionary is a legend.
Allegedly,
really. Allegedly,
that
it means absolutely nothing. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
Just to go through a couple of the comments. There's a couple, to be fair, that aren't necessarily Leeds related, but I'm going to bring them up anyway. Jonathan Monaco is a Swansea fan. What an uplift it must be for Huddersfield getting an actual manager, but will it be too little too late? Yeah, it's too little too late is. They don't need the playoffs. Ben says Leeds stay up this season, probably a blessing in disguise, to be fair. If they can hold out until the stadium's complete and then go down, all the empty seats will look beautiful. Respond to that one, Brownie.
Leeds staying up this season is probably a blessing in disguise, to be honest. If they can hold out the series, can't they? Oh, yeah, very good, Ben. Very good. Arthur, where are you? Can you get a reply in, please?
Sebastian says the only frustration with Barker is that he should have shown his adaptability from the beginning of the season. Certainly, for sure, after the Arsenal match where it all went wrong, it did. Sorry, he's not a Swansea fan. I've got that horribly wrong. Jonathan's a Cardiff fan.
Wow.
Yeah. Sorry, Jonathan. He says, as a Cardiff fan, it would make us struggle if Celtic ripped Swansea off for Adam Ider and replaced him with the Swansea idol, Joel Pirro.
Jonathan, if you have a complaint, please send it to postbox SW, whatever the Swansea postcode is.
So, Brownie, on the ins then, obviously you've been quiet about Larson. Who's the lad from Werder Bremen? Is it Schmid? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Was he at Werder Bremen, but he's now at Toulouse, if it's the lad that I'm thinking of?
No. So he's still there. He's Romano Schmid. 25, attacking midfielder. It's funny, actually. When you watch the little highlights package of him, he kind of has a similar kind of vibe as Florian Wirtz, actually. Obviously not on that scale, but the way he moves and the way he looks on the pitch is that kind of player. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think the local journals are saying that this is almost like old information. If we hadn't signed Buonanotte, we might have done a deal like that. But with Buonanotte coming in, it looks as if that might not happen. But, I mean, Fabrizio Romano was all over it. Florian Petterberg was as well. Apart from that, I don't know if anything else is happening. We might be looking at centre-back.
This time last week, I was talking when Jay was on. We were talking about Danilo Durkee from Union Berlin, but that seems to have all gone a little bit quiet because, I mean, at the time, that looked like, if it happened, a £15 million bargain, to be honest.
Yeah, I just wonder if we might still do something there, because Farke did mention in his post-match press conference that if Biol is out for longer than they think, they may still do something there. So that's one to watch, which will be a great signing. Obviously, he's going to be on a free in the summer, but we might need to get him in a bit sooner. Do you just go and get it done? We'll wait and see.
Finally,
you love that term, don't you? Get it done. You love that term, don't you? Get it done.
It's normally Jay. Jay's always get it done. Get it done.
Final thing, then, I guess, for Leeds. I mean, it's a bit of an advanced look ahead, really, because obviously it's Monday night football for you guys next weekend. Everton away at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. I mean, Everton started off the season all right at home, but recently the home form has been pouring. It's the away form that's been doing the business for Everton. So I can't imagine you'll be too concerned and you'll have to go to the Hill Dickinson Stadium and get something.
Yeah, it could be a good opportunity, actually. I mean, fantastic win against Villa yesterday for them, but you bang on, they've struggled at home. They seem better when it's kind of, counter-attacking and the emphasis isn't on them to kind of be the attacking force in a game. So that could work in our favour. I think if we get Stack back, I'd like to see him back for that game. We can hopefully go out there and do it. But yeah, it's not a bad one that for us. I don't think. I think they're struggling a bit with the home form, so hopefully it'll be a good opportunity for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good chance. It's a good chance, is that, isn't it, Browner?
Yeah,
to get some points on the board.
Yeah, I think so.
They're all right at Everton, but it's not. You're not incapable of getting.
It's the away form that's been the great thing for Everton. They've won the most away games since they had, I think 10 away, 11, 10 or 11 anyway.
DCL back at Everton, written in the stars, surely.
Well, I just want also. It's next Monday, you said, Chris. Is that right?
It is, yes.
Next month, so watch along then. Brownie and Jay's doing a watch along then, yeah? Yeah, we're all involved.
Not a chance. We'll get Lee on. Lee can do
Brownie, you're gonna have to grow some balls at some time and do a watch along.
Are you joking? It will never happen on this channel.
Why?
Leeds United.
Why?
It would actually bring in some views, likes, and follows, you pillock.
No, never, absolutely.
It's just chicken shit of crying on TV.
That's all it is. You don't want that meme, that lad in the when you played Watford in 2005.
Exactly, that's what happens. It's done, isn't it?
But we can just do that AI. We've got AI now, Browner.
Everton played really well yesterday. I know they were away, like Chris says, and their away form's better than the home form, but they actually played really well yesterday. I watched that game against
they did.
Just on Wolves, how bad a business is that with Strand Larsen? Like, what they could have had for him in the summer, and then he's obviously signed this new contract where they'll have paid him a load of massive signing on fee, increase in wages. Then he's been terrible. He's out of the team, and they're going to end up selling him for less than a lot less than they would have got for him in the summer.
The thing is, it's one of those you can't predict the future, and when he got that new contract. That was to keep him tied down with the aim of Wolves certainly staying up and not being in the mire that they're in now, I guess.
They couldn't sell him after selling Cunha and...
no, that's the other thing as well. If
they couldn't sell another big one.
More on. Yeah.
But because he signed that new contract, the club's actually in the driving seat.
But the club...
I think he's got a release clause. Yeah, he'll have a release clause if they go down. So
there's a relegation release clause allegedly, and
that's just
down. Well, no, it's just common sense. Like a lot of players request release clauses in.
No, but it's just daft. Like Gaz said, if they could have sold him for 60 million in the summer, didn't, and then his release clause is 34 million or whatever.
You can't predict the future, can you? You can't though.
Yeah,
like you can't sell him. You can't sell him for 60 million. After letting Cunha go and the other lad, and you can't then expect to be as shit as you're doing now, and therefore that relegation release clause becomes more likelihood. Like if you can't predict that you're going to be in the mire that they're in now with that, like they're expecting to be 15.
Nobody expected Wolves to stay up. The only club that everybody had going down below Wolves was Brentford, and Andrews has done an unbelievable job.
No, but Wolves will not predict. Well, I didn't think Wolves would go down.
No, I didn't either.
What were your bottom threes?
And more to the
three
point,
promoted clubs.
Yeah, and more to the point.
Okay, that's fair.
To the point, though, Downsy, Wolves sorting out, trying to look after their own best interests, wouldn't have expected them to be in a position of going down, regardless of what people thought. As a football club, you're not looking at thinking, well, we're going to go down anyway. Let's sell him now for 60 million and make the season 10 times harder than it could be. They're expecting him to have a good season after, but bearing in mind that he'd only just joined permanently with that contract in the summer because he was on loan last season as well. Like,
that squad's not good enough to stay up.
Oh my God. But they didn't know that in the fucking summer. Because you can't predict the future. Like, that squad isn't as bad. Whilst that squad, in your opinion, isn't good enough to keep them up, that squad also is better than it's showing on the points board and the return this season. It is. There's no way that squad is one of the worst in Premier League history by a long way.
I didn't say that.
No, but I am though. Like that
it's the worst.
Is nowhere near as bad as it's performing.
It's the worst in the league this season, though. I would say it's the worst squad in the league. Yeah.
I don't think it is. I really don't. We'll move on from this because we're digressing. I know Gaz wants to get off soon and we need to talk. Bradford City.
It's not me.
Gaz.
It's Brownie who wants to get off tonight, I think.
Gaz has got hours.
I won't say that.
Let's turn our attention then to Bradford City. Gaz,
you've got 30
we
seconds.
knew going into the weekend it was going to be a big ask for a start and a tough ask to get a result against Cardiff, top of the league as they are. Not just didn't come through in the end. And I mean, I watched the first 15 minutes or so whilst I was travelling up to the northeast at the weekend, and I actually thought Bradford started the game pretty brightly until that hammer blow of a Cardiff goal went in.
Yeah, we did. I thought first 10 minutes we looked good. We looked energetic, front foot with the press. And we were a little bit, I wouldn't say we were optimistic, but we were conscious of the fact that we'd beaten them at their place earlier in the season. And they were one of the sides that like to play out from the back, one of the sides that we've done well against this season. We want to play possession-based football, and our pressers work well against them. Those sides, it worked well against them earlier in the season, and other teams that have played that way. And we started the game really well. And then, after about 10 minutes, Cardiff got a foothold in the game. And I will be honest with you, Chris, for a 15, 20-minute period, they just played us off the park. We couldn't get near them. They were outstanding with Cardiff for that 15, 20-minute period up till probably about half an hour into the game. 20 minutes, 10 minutes to half an hour. Yeah, they were the best side I've seen this season by a long way in that period of time, and they got both goals in that period of time. And and in a way, I was worried at that point when it went 2-0. I thought they could have given us a right hiding because they were fantastic. So like I said, got both goals in that period of time. One's a great strike from the edge of the box from the lad Turnbull. The other one is it's a well worked corner, because I actually turned to my dad and said to him, when they scored after a short corner, I said, that's how you work a short corner, because we do a lot of short corners and they never seem to work. And they were 2-0. They'd go on and give us a bit of a hiding. But we managed to get a bit of a foothold back in the game after that. The last sort of 10 minutes of the first half, we settled down. Like I said, got a bit of a foothold. Now, whether that's because they eased off, because they got the 2-goal lead, could well be. But for the rest of the game, the last 10 minutes of the first half and the second half, we played reasonably well. I thought we did all right. We scored a goal that got us back in it at 2-1. Graham Alexander said afterwards that he thought when we got that goal back to make it 2-1 that we could go on and possibly even win the game, never mind draw it. Whether that was ever possible, I don't know. We never really tested the keeper too much. They saw it out, and probably we didn't quite do enough to get something from the game. But other than that 10-15 minute spell where they played us completely off the park, it was a very good game, a very even game.
You know what? I just look at the match statistics for it, and contrary to kind of how we obviously perceive Bradford's style under Alexander, and certainly how I see kind of Brian Barry Murphy's style at Cardiff as being obviously one to be possession based. In terms of the actual passing stats for the game, Bradford had more passes, had greater passing accuracy, and both sides played the same number of what they class as long balls over the duration of the match, which is certainly not what I expected when we kind of, how we perceive the two sides going into it.
That's too much data for me, Chris. I honestly don't get my...
We need one of Downs' AI graphics. That's what we need.
Yeah, I just commented on it how I see it. City are traditionally more of a long ball team than Cardiff. Cardiff are a possession-based side. It's the fact that you've dazzled me with stats, Chris, because they are stats that I cannot explain.
Guys, just take inspiration from the AI image. That's all I'm going to say. I watched the game, guys. I watched it all. I think you're doing yourself a disservice, really, in the second half. I thought you were the better team. I thought you should have gone on and definitely equalised. I thought you deserved an equaliser, to be absolutely honest. I mean, I was sort of commenting in the WhatsApp group while the game was going on, and I said that I think you would have been sat in the ground disappointed with the second goal, guys. I don't know what how you see it now that you've seen it back, but defensively, I think, you'd be disappointed there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's sloppy, isn't it? It's sloppy marking from a corner. the lad's got across his man, and it's a good finish. I mean, it's a nice little flick across the goal into the corner, but it's sloppy marking from a City point of view. But we were rattled at that point. We were very, very much rattled at that point. They were all over us. They steamrolled. I thought they were going to steamroller us, like I say, because for that 10, 15 minutes, we just couldn't get near popping it off all around us. The press wasn't working at all. Alexander said afterwards that he thought that some individuals sort of came off. I can't remember how he worded it, but he was basically saying that the way that City press is very, very planned out, and it says we press as a team, and when one person goes, it goes one way. It causes a player to do what it's like a knock-on effect. One player knocks on effect for another player to do things, and it's to try and force the opposition side into corners or down certain alleys. And he says some individuals came off that and started doing their own thing, and that basically knackered it up for the next man. And he said for that 10, 15 minutes, that's what happened. And Cardiff, like I said, we couldn't get near them. And it took us 10, 15 minutes to settle down. But that could partly be because, like I said, they eased off having gone 2-0 up. But yeah, I think you've got a point, Downsy. I think second half we probably were the better side. But whether how far that was for us, how much that was down to us recovering and how much that was them to obviously having the foot off the gas, I don't know. We had a couple of chances, couple of scrambles in the box without really forcing the keeper to make a save, couple of penalty shouts. Some people thought the Sarcevic one in the first half was a pen. I didn't think it really was. I thought the more likely one was the Metcalf one in the second half, where I think he got clipped. But I am at the other end of the ground, and Metcalf didn't go down, and I think it's one of them where you shouldn't have to go down, but if you do go down, you've more of a chance of getting a pen, which is why people dive, and that's disappointing. I think if he'd have gone down, he could have had a pen. And then obviously there was the breakaway from Cardiff later on where the lad White, who we've got on loan from Newcastle, his first minimal input into the game was to hack the Cardiff player, or pull the Cardiff player back as he was surging into our half of the field. But yeah,
he had to make it now.
Yeah, he did, because Cardiff had a 3-on-2. So he had to make it. But it was a good game. I thought it was a good game. And we didn't. It's no disgrace losing to a side that are top of the league and have just come down from the Championship, with the difference in where we've come from last season, coming up from League Two.
Did you think... Sorry, Chris.
Just get to Jonathan, the Cardiff Cardiff fans says both getting pretty even. He says that City were more clinical at Cardiff's ground, and Cardiff were probably more clinical at Viper. And actually, in the grand scheme of things, rather than drawing both games, you'd probably go out better off, obviously, with a win a piece out of those two games.
Yeah, I think that's really fair from Jonathan. I think that's a good way of putting it. And like you said, Chris, you said 3 instead of a point each. We've got 2 points. We've got 3 each, which can only be good in the grand scheme of things. We do press from the front. So if that's what they started, that's why the long balls came, because they were trying to avoid the press. Then that's understandable. But it was nice to see a couple of the new lads make the debuts. Harrison Ashby looked quite decent. He came on for Nerfville at right wing back, and he looked pretty good, to be fair. It was a shame that he looked like he picked up an injury towards the end of the game. He was down holding his knee when the final whistle went, actually. So we've not heard anything about that. It'd be disappointing if he is injured, because he looked good in that sort of 20 minutes that he came on. And then we had Sibley came on at half-time for Tyreek Wright over on the left, and the lad White came on the right-hand side attacking. And I thought they both did all right. Sibley looked a bit rusty. You can tell he's not played a lot of football. He got into some good positions, but he looked rusty on the ball. Hopefully that improves with time, because he has got Championship pedigree. But yeah, I'm not too disheartened. We've got this run that we're in right now. We had Cardiff Saturday. We've got Town this Saturday coming. Then we've got Lincoln on the Tuesday, and then we've got Doncaster on the Saturday after that, and we always struggle against Doncaster. They seem to be like a bogey side. So these 4 games, it's disappointing to get off to a losing start. We need to sort of make sure we don't head into a run where we don't pick up a lot of points, because the season could easily turn if we don't pick up many points from these 4.
Do you think? Do you think Cardiff deserved a penalty, Gaz? When one of the lads I can't remember who your player was, but he sort of blocked him off. I don't know if you know the incident I'm on about. I thought that could have been.
You know what? I can't remember the incident. Which end of the ground were it at? Were it at the Cop or the?
No, it was at the other end.
It
was in the first half, and Cardiff player ran into the box, and then he just got absolutely blocked off. But I thought that I did think you made a good point with Metcalf. Definitely. I mean, the only other thing that I noticed, and I don't know whether you want to comment on this, but I thought Sibley were really good when he came on. Thought he ran around and were active, but I didn't think Humphreys did a lot. I expected a bit more from him.
Yeah, it's back to that old argument that a lot of people think he's better off the left, and Graham Alexander is absolutely adamant that he's a number 9, and it is a huge argument for debate.
Why did he play? Why did he play Sibley on the left then, and Humphreys up front when it should be the other way?
No, Sibley's not a striker. Sibley's an attacking midfielder.
Yeah, he's a midfielder, isn't he?
You don't think he could do a job up there rather than Humphreys?
Absolutely not.
Humphreys is more of a striker than Sibley will ever be, because Humphreys has played through the middle. He had a decent spell at Rochdale in his younger days as a striker.
Sibley's always been an attacking midfielder. I think mainly central, but Graham Alexander thinks that he can play off that left-hand side.
Come on, Downsy. After all the criticism of Lee Grant playing players out of position, look at you and the nonsense you're coming out with now.
No, because I think that Bradford are missing a trick playing Humphreys on the left. That's why I asked. I know Gaz has brought it up quite a few times before, but I didn't think he was very effective when he came on. That was just my only other thing that I noticed.
The discussion in the City fan base, particularly since Andy Cook's gone, is that we are in desperate need of a number 9. But everybody knows that. Now we're being linked with Ethan Wheatley from Man United, who was on loan at Northampton earlier in the season, and they've recalled him and said that they're going to try and send him to someone towards the top end of League One. People are saying that it's us, but he's injured at the moment, and I think that's why the deal's not been announced. He's recovering from injury. Also, he's not somebody that scores a lot of goals. I think he got 3 for Northampton earlier. He's not an Andy Cook replacement for me. The thing is, like, if you've got Stephen Humphreys, if Graham Alexander is absolutely adamant that Stephen Humphreys is a number 9. So if you're going to bring in another striker, that means that Humphreys probably ain't going to play. It's a difficult one. I just think you've taken a lot of goals out. I know Cook was injured for a long time, but from what I saw of him this season, we talked about this to death, didn't we, last week, about whether he could have still done a job. And I just think it's a terrible decision if you don't bring in a striker who can score you 10 goals between now and the end of the season. I think it just looks really bad from a club point of view.
Yeah, Wheatley's definitely not a Cook type player at all.
Ben's got a proposition for you, though, Gaz.
I saw that. Bobby Poynton's up on record at Innis saying he doesn't really like Huddersfield Town, so I don't think that's
true, isn't it?
I think Gaz, though, you make a great point, and I think you'll probably make it, won't you, throughout the rest of the season, that probably that game on Saturday would have suited Cook coming on, just causing a bit of chaos up there with the Cardiff centre backs. I think that would have been a really good option to bring on.
Yeah, that's the point I were making last week. We've said it. There were 7 games before Cook left. There were 7 games where he wasn't in the matchday squad, and City fans would have said in most of those games, or in definitely at least half of those games, Cookie could have done a job for us today as a sub. So we're going to be saying that between now and the end of the season, especially if we don't bring in a striker that can do that for us.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, then, as you say, Gaz, this tricky little run continues, obviously, with the derby on Saturday, and then it's a more friendly rivalry on Tuesday night.
Me and Gaz are buds. We're having a boxing match on Thursday, but we're buds.
We got through the other game all right, didn't we, Downsy? I think Brownie hosted the pod for that one, and we got through it all right.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. Go on, mate.
Brown is a calm referee. That's why it was all right.
Yeah, I took my lead.
It is a tough run of games. Yeah, Cardiff obviously top of the league. Huddersfield, Derby, bit of a rivalry there over the years. And obviously, like I mentioned before, when we're talking about Huddersfield, it's the complexion of that game has now changed completely with the managerial change and all the uncertainty that brings from a Bradford City point of view. Graham Alexander has said previously that he doesn't tend to do too much analysis on what the other team does. He prefers it to focus on what we can do. So we're probably not going to change regardless. Lincoln game, as it stands at the moment, like you say, it's second against third, and like you say, it's more of a friendly rivalry, that, Chris.
Yeah.
So that's something. But it's 3 tough games, followed by a 4th tough one with Doncaster, because, like I said, our record against Doncaster in recent years is poor. Grant McCann seems to have the wool over Graham Alexander in recent games, especially. And even after that, we've got Luton away, which obviously is a test in itself, given that they've just come down from the Championship. Lincoln went there, and I think you were 2-0 up, weren't you, Chris, and drew 2-2?
Yeah, before half time as well. We were 2-0 up, thinking about first 25 minutes. Then they pegged us back to 2-2 before half time. So then their one ruled out as well for a nasty foul on the goalkeeper.
Me and Chris were talking about this before we went live. I don't know if any of you lads have seen it, but a cross comes in. So it's a Luton cross into the box that Lincoln are defending. And the Lincoln goalkeeper jumps up and punches himself in the chest. The goal goes, the Luton lad scores, and then it gets disallowed for a foul on the keeper.
Wow. Wow.
Horrible foul. Nasty. Nasty.
Can I just say,
the sort of thing you don't want to see in the game.
I really hope all of you end up in the playoffs. Can you? Now, that is the watch along. That is the watch along playoff.
Is it? Is it, Brownie?
Amazing. That would be amazing. All 3 of you. Can you imagine? Good Lord.
How would we
Please happen.
I'll settle for second, thanks, and just leave third versus 6th in Town versus Bradford. Yeah,
I'll be honest, Brown. I'd be the most relaxed because at least Town have got a semi-decent playoff campaign. You know,
I was just about to say that Town's record in the playoffs is a lot better than City's. I don't know what Lincoln's is like, but Town's is really good compared to City's.
Effing dreadful.
So what we're saying is, if that happens, that Town are going to go up then, yeah?
Yeah, because in my lifetime alone, we had 5 consecutive seasons of making the playoffs in League Two between 2000 and I think it was like 2003 and 2008 or something like that, where we finished in the playoffs every time, had 3 semis and 2 finals and didn't go up. And then we had a League Two semi-final at Exeter under Danny Cowley, which we lost. Season after, we went up automatically. And then we had the League One playoff final in the COVID year against Blackpool when we went 1-0 up after a minute and lost 2-1 to Blackpool. So, yeah, absolutely sodding shocking in my lifetime is Lincoln record. 7 failed playoffs. And that's only since 2002.
Ours isn't quite as bad as that, but we're about 50-50, whereas I know that Town have a really good record.
If Town do make the playoffs, though, Ben's got the perfect antidote. We can just bring John Moss out of retirement for a League One playoff final, and that way, Town don't go up. Happy days.
I still find it mad, though, that this statistic is that Town in the last 4 times that Town have gone up through the playoffs, they've ended the regular season on 81 points. I find that absolutely an amazing stat. The fact that
is that what you finished on then before Andy Booth scored that offside goal in 2004?
Yeah, Chris. Get your little VAR computer out. Let's take it back to 20 years.
Yes, Jonathan, that is exactly what I'm saying. By the way, we need to hold on to second for dear bloody life.
The fact that you opened that comment, Downsy, by saying the last 4 times that we went up in the playoffs. I mean, bloody hell. There's only you in this chat that can say that when you've got a Leeds fan, a Lincoln fan, and a Bradford fan. The last 4 times that we went up in the play. That tells you all you need to know about our 3 teams ending in the playoffs, lads.
Yeah, we've lost in the playoffs 2022, 2010, and 2011. And yeah, that's it. I believe.
Well, there we go.
I just want to point out. Sorry, go on, Chris.
No, go on, Gaz. I was about to just end it on that cheerful bloody note from Downsy, but go on. I'm just prepared to end it on.
I'm just going to say what I say every week about City. We're overachieving this season. The longer we can stay on up there, the better. There's a few sides doing all right that you might not expect to be doing as well as they are. Lincoln and City. City are probably the biggest surprise of the lot. And if we do, we have got some tough games coming up over the next 4 or 5, including Saturday. And if we don't pick up many points, City fans just need to remember where we were 18 months ago and how far we've come. So we hit a sticky run. Let's not get too downhearted about it. Hopefully we don't, but let's see what happens.
James is well confident then, isn't he? Come on, James. We've got Liam Manning coming in. Of course, we're getting the playoffs.
That's Huddersfield fan James as well. He said that we won't make the playoffs.
Come on, James.
Look, it would be utterly amazing. And look, I think we'd all be trying to get for press passes if it was a Bradford Huddersfield Town final at Wembley. That would be epic, and we are worthy of a press pass. Just putting that out there right now.
I think we'd go if it was a Town Lincoln or a Bradford Lincoln, wouldn't we? Or I think we'd go anyway.
I don't want to comprehend playoffs. Okay, we're gonna get second. I'm blanking it out. We've got a new striker today. We've got a new striker come in. It's fine.
You've got money now as well, Chris. You're in money bags now, aren't you?
Yeah, money bags Lincoln. 100%.
You just haven't spent any of it yet. We might have. To be fair, we've had some money for a while. We just spend it frugally. We don't just spunk it all over the place like Huddersfield.
Richer than Town now, guys. You know, Lincoln, big city Lincoln. You know, we're coming after Leeds next.
I don't know what Nagel's net worth is, but this lad at Lincoln, I think it was $1.95 billion or something like that.
Wow.
Nagel's supposed to be $2 billion, apparently.
Oh, pretty close. I mean, what's $500 million between friends?
Yeah, but nobody actually knows his actual true net worth. I don't think you ever know with these kind of people what the true net. I know what our net worth is on here, and it's more than about.
Yeah.
Right. On that note, we'll wrap. We will wrap it up there. Big thank you to everyone that is going to. We have loads of engagement over the course of the evening. If you've joined us late, you can go back and watch it from the start on YouTube. We have had a good, long, in-depth discussion about all things Huddersfield Town.
Sometimes, Jed, you put these comments here. I don't think anybody knows what to say to him, mate. To be honest,
it sounds like a very dangerous route to go down of a bloke in Bangkok. So
we'll let Brownie be our discussions on this side of the pond for that negotiation.
I'll pull a few strings, mate. I'll pull a few strings.
What hamstring?
Just be careful what strings you're pulling in Bangkok.
Yeah.
And on that note, we are wrapping it up there. Thanks, as I say, to everyone that's been in touch and commented over the course of the show. Do like the video for us, subscribe to the channel, and check out our social media as well over the course to see what's coming up. As I say, we think on Thursday evening it'll be Gaz versus Downsy in a Huddersfield Bradford preview. And Brownie, I'm sure you and Jay will have some Leeds United content as well.
Yes.
Later in the week.
Thursday, Friday morning.
Yeah, say again.
Thursday or Friday morning.
There we go. So there'll be some.
And I know Brownie always finishes the show when you're going through what's coming up. He always mentions that my reviews and little videos are always up on YouTube and on TikTok too.
And they're doing well. They're doing
out.
well on
Very
the old
well.
TikTok. If you're
down with the TikTok superstar, Gaz. There you go. With the youth.
He's down with the kids, isn't he?
Down with the kids.
He's old Gareth.
Don't know what I'm doing.
Enjoy the rest of the evening, whatever you get up to, and we'll see you soon here on the West Yorkshire Football Show. Take care.
Hope the toffees.